What is going on, legend? But welcome back to Beyond the 90. Hopefully you're doing well. Leicester have won away at Gillingham, League Two team they have beaten. First win of 2023. Let's get into the details. Overall, bit of a boring game, to be perfectly honest with you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll try and get as many of you and bring as many on stream as possible. Overall, I mean, we set up, again, there was a bit of a confusion with the formation. Brendan seems to be going with a 3-5-2 that we're looking at. So it was a back three of Soyuncu, it was Vestergaard, and it was Brunt, which we'll talk about them individually a little bit more. We know that Soyuncu is pretty much on his way out now. Vestergaard, again, we'll get into him individually. And then we played wing backs of Mark Albrighton, who we're a bit surprised at. He decided to change the team. It's not the same team that's going to play against Newcastle or potentially against Nottingham Forest as well. There's a lot of players that have changed. Yuri Tillemans was the other one, which kept their place, and Jose Perez did. Pretty much everybody else changed. Mendy came in, so you're playing Mendy and Tillemans as a double pivot. Perez as the kind of cam slash coming onto that left hand side a little bit more, and then Vardy, Nacho up top. So we'll go through some of the players individually. The game overall, I mean, my God, these players haven't played together. I understand that. But the best players on the pitch were the youngsters. We'll get into them straight away. Brunt, I mean, for me, he got man of the match for Leicester because he was so good. Now, in a back three, we've seen him play a different position. Remember, he played in the Cup last time when we scored 4 goals against that as well. I shall send the link. Sorry, Anne. I thought I did. Anyway. Let's see if I can go find it. But yeah, basically, Brunt was fantastic in this game. I'm going to try and get And in, who's going to be a lot more. Oh my God, everything's all over the place at the moment. So, what's it called? Brunt, fantastic today. Really, really stepped up his performance. I think he had a really good overall game, considering that's his second start since the Watford game. And yeah, overall, fantastic performance. Vestergaard, I've seen worse, but it is, I'll be nice and say, he's found his level. The problem is with this one, with Vestergaard, he looks bearing in mind, I think that Gillingham played a good game. They played well overall. Their job was to get on TV, set up and they're 2 banks of 4, like a 4-5-1, and keep us out and take it to 0-0, take it back to our place, which I think was a fair game considering they're playing somebody that's, I think, 79 positions higher than them in the league. So credit to them for trying, and they did. They frustrated Leicester. They made it hard for us, and they decided to sit in and make it difficult. Let's be honest, we didn't really pick it apart. The only time that we really did is through 2 people in particular. One person was Mark Albrighton. The other one was Casey McAteer. But bring Ant in. I know Ant was at the game. Ant, mate, what are your thoughts on the game overall?
It's one of those, like, the main thing, regardless, I know the performance wasn't great today, was getting through. Because being the 12:30 kickoff on, obviously, playing the team in the bottom possible position in the Football League, it had everything written in it that could have been a giant killing. Yes, the performance wasn't great, but it was one of those where, like, it would have been nice to see 2 or 3 goals, but it was just about getting through today.
Yeah, exactly. And we've done that. However, let's be honest, the performance was nowhere near good enough. I know these players haven't played together, and we're kind of looking at a team that is, the plan is from here till about February time, it's full on football. There's no break. We're going one after another in terms of matches, because of the World Cup. But we're looking at the way that we set up. Again, are you surprised Brendan went with a 3-5-2?
No, because I thought today was about just giving different players an opportunity, and think by playing that formation, it gave more sort of players like McAteer. I thought it gave him more of an opportunity whilst being a bit protected at left wing back instead of left back. Same with Brunt, who I thought was brilliant, by the way. I don't know how much you've said about him already.
Just mentioned it off camera, but we'll get onto it a little bit. I mentioned it as soon as you said that. So, yeah.
Okay, but Brunt as well, yeah, in a back three, I thought he was a little bit more protected there. Not that he needed to be today, but it just sort of it worked quite well. And then also it allowed Iheanacho to play with the two up top. So I think the formation probably doesn't suit us, but it's suited today of giving everyone a bit of a
Yeah,
run out.
exactly. And the thing is, you're right. The main thing that we have is run. We won. There's teams that have been knocked out of it. Nottingham Forest been knocked out. Newcastle have just been knocked out as well. I've just saw against Sheffield Wednesday. There are players that haven't gone through to the next round, which is that was the main idea of this. We need to get through to this main round. Now coming into kind of the game, we try to go through the middle, especially in the first half. We tried the tactic of going through the middle every single time, and it didn't work. And you've got the likes of Perez, Mendy, Tillemans, all tried to go through the middle. The only time that it really worked is when it went wide to wing back to Mark O'Brien and he was swinging in crosses. And it just reminded us kind of like a half-baked version of what we used to do in 2015, 2016.
I didn't even think that. I just thought it was a really strange tactic to keep trying to go down the middle against a team that were obviously going to compact the middle of the pitch and try and make it very difficult for us to break them down. And like the few moments of success we had in the first half, because the first half was dire, if we're honest, but was from Albrighton at right back playing a ball over the top. And I think we had the one chance from Vardy really early on. And I had this conversation with my mate at the ground. It's sad seeing Vardy like this. I think like the decline, like we love him, but the decline you can really see it. Like the chances he had today, I think if you give him those a couple of years ago, he scores at least one of them.
I know what you mean, and it wasn't just in this game. It's been a few games in the past where he's not took them for whatever reason, and you expect Jamie Vardy to put them away, which is really, really unfortunate. And just get some of your comments in as well. Ethan's like, it wasn't great. Totally understand, mate. But do we care? We win. Yeah, exactly. And we mentioned another thing. Palace are out as well. Vielis working the sack race. That's another thing in itself. But Crystal Palace, again, they're out of the cup. So there are other positions that are there are other things that are available as well. So we did get the win at the end of the day. That's all that matters. Coming into kind of the midfield three, Mendy, Tillemans, and kind of Perez as that kind of midfield. How do you think they did in the game?
They just, in a weird way, the game just seemed to pass them by because, like, they. Haven't seen the stats yet, if I'm honest, but I'm sure we probably dominated the ball, but we didn't really seem to create much at all through the middle.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it. I mean, I'm trying to through the middle. I don't think there was anything. I'm trying to find the stats at the moment. I didn't bring them up because I didn't think they were really important, if that made sense. It wouldn't have affected the game that much in regards to, 70%. I'll bring it up on screen. 70% possession overall, which is it's a lot of possession.
It is, but I bet you a lot of that is in between like the back five and then sort of the midfield. I would be interested to see. I'd be interested to see where that possession was on the pitch. Be very interesting look. But the thing that I'd say about Gillingham today, like whilst for where they are and what they are, they did very well.
Yeah,
they didn't offer a huge amount, but they were still very competitive throughout the game, and like it was. I've just seen Chester's comment, but
totally fine. I mean, I didn't get anyway that one.
But it's just one of those games. It was never going to be and on paper it should be because they are awful in terms of their league form. But this was a huge game for them, like a huge opportunity of a Premier League club rocking up to Gillingham. And they had absolutely nothing to lose. And you could see that with the way that they're playing, bodies on the line and like flinging themselves to absolutely everything. And like, how many times have we seen these teams like these be the upsets of the round in the story of the third round of the FA Cup? We were there a couple of years ago with it being Newport. So it was just, I think, about dragging ourselves through it today.
And that was on telly as well. I don't think Leicester do very well on telly. That one, it was the Fleetwood, I want to say, a couple of seasons ago as well, which was a 0-0 meh.
What? I'll tell you what, they have really nice fish and chips there, and that was the highlight of the weekend. But to going all the way to Fleetwood for a 0-0 draw, painful.
Jamie Vardy's old ground. It was all romantic. That's why they put it back. And
He didn't even
nothing.
play,
At
did
least in
he?
this game, we got something.
I'm sure when we went to Fleetwood, they were trying to build it up as Vardy against his old club, and he didn't play.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. I remember that in the end, and yeah. Just one thing on Vardy, Ray's put in the comments. Okay, thank you for your comment, Ray. Vardy doesn't have consistent service that he's got in the past, so when he finally gets service, he's rusty. Do you think that's the case, or do you think, as I'm kind of with that, but also he's not finishing the chances that he should be doing, but he's still trying and getting into good positions?
He is, but how many times have we said he's had limited service, but you give him 2 chances, he'll score one of them? He's had about 4, 5, 6 chances in the last sort of few weeks, and like typically you'd expect him to have got 2 or 3 goals, and I it's catching up with him, and which is the sad thing to see. That one towards the end, where he was 1-on-1 with the keeper before he scores that every time.
Exactly. And also with Chester, as you said, a couple of things. I don't think he's going to give himself again. I did want to reply to your message on the Rob Tanner thing. Again, if you've not watched it, we've had a full, myself and Ant have had an interview with Rob Tanner after this video. Make sure you go check it out. It's a really good watch. So a full hour talking about transfers, players in 2023, how it's not looking like it's going to be a year of change for Leicester City as well. So make sure you go check that out. And thank you for your comments, Chester. I didn't manage to get time to respond to that before it ended. But yeah, so mentioning about you getting always been intelligent strikers, always has been. But even in this game, he got the kind of half assist. I mean, Casey McAteer comes over, Iheanacho finishes it off. I mean, Vardy and Nacho going forward, do you think that's if we're going to play a 3-5-2, it means we're going to play 2 up top, and that means that Nacho probably is most likely to play in that formation? Do you think we get the best out of maybe not Vardy, but we get the best out of Iheanacho?
I think we get the best out of Iheanacho, but it's so hard to say because I think if you're going to play a front 2, you've got to have a proper number 10 behind them. And I don't think Perez is that. So it's almost like with this formation, you go without a natural number 10, or if we go back to the 4-1-4-1, we're without a natural right winger. So it's like which one do we need more, and which would we miss less?
Yeah, exactly. And at the moment, we've not got that person that's going to play the out-and-out position. And the only again, at right wing back, Timothy Castagne is made for that, surely. I'm not sure Luke Thomas is, but Timothy Castagne wing back, I think that's a role that he's played the majority of his career.
Yeah, Castagne, either side, you could play him right or left wing back. But Luke Thomas, I think left back suits him so much more than left wing back because him getting up with Thomas, getting up and down the line, he's never been his strong point.
Just seen something in the comments saying Vestergaard was very good today. Totally disagree. Vestergaard was playing against a League Two side, and even then, I don't know if you noticed this, and he panicked on the ball so much, and that's one of the reasons why I was so shocked. I mean, nobody's Vestergaard. Even Rob was going, he was a terrible buy, but even in this game, he panicked on the ball so many times, which I thought was completely unnecessary.
It is, but if you've had the career that he's had in terms of his Leicester career, where everything he's done's pretty much gone wrong, I don't think he's a Leicester player, but I understand why he's nervous and why he's sort of panicking on the ball because, he shouldn't be, but the way that his confidence must be, I sort of from that standpoint, I kind of get it.
Yeah, I kind of understand, but still something that I'm not too. People are saying, and Ethan saying, made so many poor passes. Feel sorry for him. I mean, I think he's gone to the stage of anger. It's just we know he's not going to be a player going forward, and I know Brendan Rodgers probably had words with him saying, "Listen, probably look for another move on the way out to the club because this is not going to be your future going forward." But yeah, in the second half, it turned. Sorry, you were saying?
I was going to say, when it gets to that point, though, when people are starting to feel sorry for him, and that's when you've got to cut ties. But we tried to do that in the summer, and he stayed because he's on a bigger wedge here than he was going to get at Fulham. So it's like...
Look where Fulham are now.
Yeah, but I bet you he still wouldn't have been earning the 70 grand a week there.
No, I think it's close to 80. I think it was 160 between him and Ryan Bertrand, which is travesty in itself. And it's one of the reasons why we're in such a one of the few bad decisions that has left us in this financial situation. But coming into the second half, it seemed to have picked up a little bit. Again, still not great. Gillingham were on top, I think, we had a couple of shots early, and Gillingham were on top creating opportunities. And it seemed like at times Leicester defense was all over the place. I remember the person that was defending the best and putting his body on the line was Jose Perez a few times.
Yeah, the thing is, say what you want about Perez in terms of his output, but he always tracks back and he always works hard defensively. But what like Siunchu's head seems elsewhere, and I've been a big defender of Siunchu, but you could tell by today. I thought that he's just counting down before he's off, because whether he's off to Atletico at the end of this window or the end of the season, you're starting to see that his head's just not at Leicester anymore.
Yeah, and it's just not the case. It's just not the case. Because it's not going to be something that's going to happen in the future. And a lot of these players were played on the fringe for that exact purpose. They weren't meant to play the full 90 minutes. They weren't meant to play the majority of the games. It was just meant to be, this is the second string squad. And Vardy, unfortunately, I think Tillemans is the only exception I'd really say in terms of that. But just want to get on to a couple of players that, again, speak a bit more positively. Casey McAteer, again, playing wing back, I was a little bit like, okay, this guy is normally a cam or a left winger. Not sure what to make of him. Overall, I'm happy with what he did. I think he should have stayed on his feet for that non-penalty, but I was happy with his performance because coming into the team, yes, he's played in League Two before. I think he played with Forest Green Rovers and took them up to League One. However, in this team, I thought he performed pretty well considering he's a young player.
He is, and it's always difficult for a young player to come into a team that isn't playing particularly well. And I thought he held his own. And I thought, obviously, for the goal as well, he had a huge input in the goal. I know it was a bit of a scrappy goal mouth tap in at the end with Iheanacho, obviously Vardy across to Iheanacho, but he had his influence on that. And it's one of those, I don't want to overanalyze it because it was one game where against a League Two team, but for him, it's got to be a good thing to get full debut and minutes under his belt. So hopefully we see a bit more of him in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and let's see who we get in the next round as well. Again, we're not too high in the competition at the moment. If we get a lower place, you would expect hopefully Casey to play again. And hopefully we're getting again another lower league team. Give Brunt another run out. Hopefully, I was disappointed to not see Sammy Braybrook as well. I saw him on the bench and thought this is a player that could come on, but didn't quite happen for him.
No, but I think if we'd been 2 or 3-0 up, he might have. It's because it was a game where, yes, we were controlling the possession and stuff, but if we it could have very easily been one ball into a box, 1-1, and then it's not. I don't think it was the right game to bring a lot of youngsters in. We already have the 2 on the pitch, and then from there, I think if you start throwing too many on, it just looks like a disaster, recipe for disaster.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense as well. If you're cruising in the game, because we weren't comfortable until the last minute. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think, and what I'm going to do as well, unless there's any other real points, because again, it was a bit of a meh game. There's nothing to really touch on too much. I think the best thing to do is look ahead to Newcastle because can't believe it. I'll bring it up at the moment. They lost with quite a strong team against Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, it's mad, but you know what that means? They're going to be looking for a response on Tuesday, aren't they? So,
and just looking at the team they put out again, it was a similar kind of strength to what they put up against us. Mancini again, it was Botman still played. Lascelles again was kind of the Dan Burn didn't play. Lewis. Then you've got
that's
Joel
quite
Linton.
rotated, to be fair, though, isn't it?
It's about half rotated. Dubravka, who's their second keeper, Manquillo second, Lascelles second, Lewis second, Joel Linton's not. Richie is, Murphy is, Anderson is, maybe Sean Longstaff is as well for Jumaresh. But I mean, they are going to be. I didn't watch the game, but they will be looking for a response, and they did bring on. Let's not bear in mind, Isaac only played 45 minutes. Chris Wood came in, Willock, Jimares, Trippier, and Almiron. So by the end of the game, they were pretty much playing their strongest squad. But I think you're right. They'll be looking for a hell of a response for a quarter-final as well.
Yeah, yeah, I am not looking forward to that, particularly after Boxing Day. But let's enjoyable win for today and worry about that later.
Potentially, the reason why I talk about it is because I don't think I'll get time to do a preview for that as well. But coming into today, is there anybody that from this? Do you expect to see some players from today that will start on Tuesday? Because it was a heavily rotated team.
So probably Tielemans we'll see. Trying to think who. Probably Perez. Tielemans, Perez, and then probably
Iheanacho,
Iheanacho.
do you think?
Iheanacho or Vardy. Actually, saying that, it might be just Daka up top. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think the only other player that I can think of, because if we're playing 3-5-2, which is looking more and more likely now, who are we playing as where's Barnes going to fit into that formation?
I don't think we should be shoehorning Barnes in, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
If he's playing in form, great, but he's not a player as of right now that you change your whole system for.
And because we haven't got options as well. Yeah. We haven't got options to play the 4-2-3-1 that Brendan wants.
That's it. So I think Barnes will be one of the ones that sort of is sacrificed if we do change formation.
Yeah, exactly. Just one thing as well, looking at some of the comments again, I'm hoping it's one of those things with like a team like Newcastle, you're looking at that going, it should be heavily in their favour. And I think 90% I'm 90% sure they're going to absolutely smash us. And I'm not happy to say that, but there's always that 10%, just like it was when we looked at Boxing Day last year, last year, 2021, when we played against Liverpool and we're like anything less than 2-0 is a success and we end up winning 1-0. It could happen, but some things drastically need to change, don't they, Ant?
Yeah, it's one of those like how long have we been saying this though? Something needs to change, something needs to change. So I don't hold much hope. It's like it's no coincidence we haven't beaten a team in the top 12 in over a year.
Yeah, in 2022, you're saying in 2022 we haven't. And Newcastle are there. They are going for it. Now they're going to be out of one trophy. This will be a good opportunity for them to go get it. So, yeah, we'll have to see. I think one thing I'm going to bring up as well, just before we finish, because, again, I'm just making this a bit of a quick one because the match was so boring. I don't want to analyze it too much, to be honest. I don't know if you've just seen this, just as we're going live. Leicester leading the race force, Harry Sutter, who's a Australian defender. I was thinking, is this a record sport? They're followed by Romano, so it's kind of a good source. So it looks like we are going after a centre back.
I've literally got that tweet open on my other tab, which is quite funny for him, but apparently he's quite injury prone. So
welcome to the club.
Fit right in.
Yep. Welcome to the A&E ward. Well, we don't really need, we need that at the moment. Again, just looking at his profile, massive he is. Aberdeen born 198, is a very Vestergaard, plays on the right foot, can play either side. I can't lie, I've not anything about it, but just something I'd bring up live. But at least they're looking at centre backs because we are in desperate need.
Oh my god, have you just seen what's happened in the Wolves game?
No.
Oh, have a look once we've finished, mate. You'll know why I'm smiling.
I shall have a look there. But again, thank you all for watching. And it's only been a quick one at the moment. I know Sandra actually just put that in as well. It's another Alisson moment. And again, he's done an Alisson again. I've seen that at the moment. Again, if you want to, if you are not watching the Liverpool game and howling your eyes out, please check out our channel and go and watch the Rob Tanner interview. There's a lot of work way into it, so I really appreciate that. A lot of different topics we covered, a full hour, myself and Ant. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, head over to Ant's channel. I think are you going live soon?
9, mate.
Okay, it's going live in half an hour, so make sure you go check out that video. Apart from that, see you all later. Goodbye.